I want to start by thanking my honourable friend, the member for Battersea, and the honourable member for Salisbury for bringing forward this debate and giving us the opportunity to herald the amazing contribution of churches and religious buildings in our local communities. It's not an exaggeration to say that almost every religious building offers invaluable service to its local community. We see that especially in times of national hardship, during the pandemic and the cost of living crisis, but also in everyday life. Holy Trinity Clapham in my constituency, my honourable friends' church, is a clear example of the impact churches and places of worship can have on our local community. It's the largest church of England church in the Diocese of Southwark, with around 800 worshippers each Sunday, and has tripled in size over the past decade. The work of Holy Trinity Clapham has touched so many in the community, and as you've already heard, like so many churches, they ran a significant food bank during the COVID pandemic, supporting those who were unable to afford basic goods or unable to get to the supermarkets. And to carry on this work, the church has established a breakfast club which feeds approximately 200 people each week. They also run youth clubs, work with ex-offenders, put on courses for those who have suffered from domestic violence, prepare couples for marriage, and much more. Holy Trinity Clapham is not just a place of worship, it's a community hub. Members may also be intrigued to know that Holy Trinity Clapham is the church where William Wilberforce and the Clapham sect worshipped, and in continuing that legacy, Holy Trinity worked with other organisations to help tackle modern-day slavery. They've also extended their support to other churches and communities in the area, having sent teams of people from the church to help revitalise other struggling churches and communities in Brixton, Vauxhall and Mitcham. And I know both honourable members who have brought this debate forward today have expressed words of support for Holy Trinity's vision, and I'm sure they're very grateful for that. And now, to facilitate their plans to expand their work, Holy Trinity has begun a project to help make their building more suitable for modern day. And they've raised a total of £6 million, £4.5 million through donations from the congregation alone, and the remaining from successful grant applications. That's a huge amount of work already done on their own. Now, the whole project is a massive undertaking, but they've managed to raise the funds, and the works are going to be taking place over the next 12, 18 months, or so we hope. However, as you've heard, the changes to the Listed Places of Worship grant scheme have put these plans in doubt, particularly the £25,000 cap. Now, the church assumed they'd be able to recoup most of the VAT on the £6 million project, and they entered into a number of contracts on this basis, on the assumption that the scheme will continue, and now they have the prospect that they will face an extra £1 million in expenditure. Now, that's not money that the church has, it's not money that their already generous congregation has, and without finding that extra £1 million, or the government introducing an exemption for the places of worship that have already signed contracts for projects set to conclude in 2025-26, before the cap was introduced, the project will have to be brought to a temporary halt and potentially a permanent one. I'm sure you agree that would be a huge shame, and this will have hugely negative repercussions to the local community and those who rely on the church's services, but also more widely in the boroughs of Lambeth and Wandsworth, who the church were hoping to reach. Holy Trinity Clapham is not the only church that has been impacted by these changes, as you heard today, and though I think it's important to note that they serve as a very clear example of the impact this will have on the estimated 200 churches across the country whose restoration projects have been placed in jeopardy due to these changes. So I'd ask the Minister today to please tell us what plans the government has to support those churches who've already begun their restoration projects, and actually just stick to the agreement or the belief that the churches had before when they begun these projects. This morning's debate has been filled with so many shining examples of the crucial role that churches and places of worship play in their local communities, and it would be a great shame to lose that, and I hope that the Minister shares that sentiment.